Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is the Good Morning Education Show, and we are streaming we are so excited to have you. This is the Good Morning Education Show, 9 a.m. on Mondays to Fridays. However, on Saturday, it's a different timing. Saturday is when we start our weekend special. Our weekend special is both Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, we are live 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. 10 a.m. Maybe I'm prophesying. And then, of course, we are also live on Sunday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And it's always a great time. On the show, we try to talk about things happening within and around the world of education. And we also tackle headlines and news and stuff like that. We also have subject matter of discussion where we have some of our analysts, share the day with us and their time with us, talking about their expertise and their understanding about the subject matter. And we get to hear from them, we get to learn from them, you know, we get to interact with them. And of course, we also open up opportunities, for people like you, on the other side to also share with us, and learn with us. So at the end of the day, what happens is that on the Good Morning Education Show, you have us learning together, sharing together, growing together, improving together. That's the spirit. That's how it should be. And I believe that as we tag along, you begin to hear and experience a lot of exciting moments on the show. Please understand on the show, you're also welcome to share your thoughts, share your perspective, let us know what you're thinking and let us know what your thoughts are and all sorts like that. So please do not hesitate to contact us to let us know. Share your contributions as well. Today on the show, we're going to be having a fantastic time. We're going to be having a great time on the show. And I know that you will not be an exception to the experience today. All right. So I'd like to give you a taste or a teaser to what to expect. Today, we'll be talking about something that affects everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean every single person. We'll be talking about something that you also find useful to enhance your life, the quality of work, the quality of output, the quality of things that you do. It's pretty much something that will engage you to become a better person and a better professional. And I believe that the topic also will open our eyes to see some of the realities and challenges that people do face, you know, and hopefully, as we stay along, we begin to understand how this and many more will take us into into a space where we know that we'll be able to thrive and drive better um, better realities. So that's it. Pretty much that's it. So um, we will start and we will have a conversation. So the conversation today is pretty much um, we're talking about staying organized, staying organized, staying organized. It's important that everyone gets to capture and picture this reality for themselves, in themselves. Staying organized, being organized is considered something that means so many things to different people, right? And I believe that we will be able to take this, as we move along. All right. So that's what I would like to say. So let's talk about staying organized today. And of course, the first question that comes to mind is, what does it mean when we talk about staying organized? What does it mean to be organized? And especially for those of us who have busy, busy days, we have a lot of things that we sometimes find ourselves involved with. We have huge responsibilities and sometimes strict timelines and deadlines. So we need to really talk about it. And as we talk about it, we need to make it very practical and applicable to all and sundry. So we need to know how to organize our lives. Is it something that is powered by habits? We need to also understand, why is it important. You know, why is it important to stay organized. We need to understand the best ways to stay organized. And in fact, how do you know you are not even organized? Those are questions that come into your mind. That how do you even know that you're not organized? Of course, there are evidences to show if one is organized. And of course, to live a to stay organized, I would want to say, is almost the same. It's almost the same thing as, you know living an orderly life. And one of the things that I would look forward to is getting to hear from you, or getting to hear from our analysts, their view and thoughts. But let's start with the question: why is it important? Why is it important to stay organized? I think that staying organized is so important, especially to everyone, and of course those of us within organizations having responsibility. It's very important for us to stay organized, right? And one of the things I consider is that when you stay organized, and by staying organized, it helps you to save time. It helps you to save time. I think that's one of the things that you see as important, right? And it brings you to that position, you know, where everyone that stays organized gets to save time, you know. And if you and I will be honest with ourselves, you realize that time is one indispensable resource, that the most that you can make out of it gives you the benefit. There's so many things in the world that we live in today, so many things calling for our attention, driving for our attention, competing for our attention. And staying organized would help you and I to save time. Time is quite precious. In fact, while we save time, we begin to save time not looking for certain things. I've experienced this before, and I don't know about you, where it looks like you're looking for something that is not missing. It's somewhere, but you can't just place your hand on it. You get troubled in your spirit. Think about if you're looking for a key or a pair of keys, you know, or a bunch of keys, better way. You get disturbed. It affects your fiber, it affects your being, it affects everything around you. Why? Because at such time, probably the things around were not that organized. And it made it a bit difficult for you to be able to get these things done. Another thing about this is that it also gives you opportunity to get more important tasks done. More important task done. You see, we sometimes are conscious of so many things that we're expected to do, so many things that are expected of us. However, if you stay organized, the important task gets opportunity to be executed, to be implemented. And also, it helps improve the flow of communication, especially between you and your clients, you and your team, you and your partner, you and your boss, you and your subordinates. The flow of communication is always better when we stay organized. Organized and being organized, staying organized, whichever one you look at it, is an indispensable reality for those of us who call ourselves professionals. We need to have that. We need to demonstrate it in our being every time. You know, very important. Welcome, Finn. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm fine, thank you. It's good to be back on the show again today.
Fantastic. So I want to start with the question: what does it mean to stay organized? Over.
Staying organized means putting things in order, making sure that it's easy for you to reach what you want, or to be able to, you can have your eyes closed and be able to say, look, or you can tell someone leave my house or go to my house or go to my office in so and so place. If you take, okay, so that may be taken in it, that may be a little extraneous to say, but if you take a couple of steps or if you take this number of steps, this place, you will find this. But being able to say essentially, like if you walk into my office, on my table, on the right side, there's a file. What's inside the file is this and that. So being organized is just having things in order so that you are able to reach and able to get what you need when you need them.
Fantastic. I love the way you said it means having things in order and being able to reach them or access those things when needed. Right? Am I correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so now I was saying something before you connected finally, and that was the level of the importance of staying organized, right? I know that from the definition, obviously, we are able to see that it's important to stay organized, either as an educator, um, a professional, even as a superior. Sometimes there are things that we excuse or feel that some people are exempted from. But I think all all and sundry, if you were to put it that way, both superior, both subordinate, colleagues as well. I think everyone should realize that it's an important thing. It's an important reality. It's not just the employee that is meant to stay organized. The employer should also stay organized. So can you just share some importance, of staying organized?
Okay, so I lost track of what you said, but I think I heard what's the importance of staying organized. So
Yes.
one of the things that being organized or staying organized does for you is it saves you time.
Okay.
It really is a time saver. So you don't have to start looking for, or where did I put the cutouts? Where do I have the wall hangings? Where do I have my lesson plan or my lesson notes? Where you're not looking for things everywhere. You're not looking for supplies or resources everywhere. So you know that if I open the cupboard in if I open the cupboard, everything is labeled or color coded. So I know that on the red section, what I find there are things related to art. In the yellow section, what I find there are things related to numeracy and like that. So you don't it reduces the amount of time that is expended on looking for things or getting started or getting settled and starting off what is needed. Also, staying organized helps you to reduce frustration. The frustration that comes with, oh my goodness, I don't know where this is. I don't, there are times that you're in so much of a hurry that you only just need to grab one thing and get out or get moving. And then you can't find that one thing. And it becomes a huge, it becomes, you're almost having a meltdown. Like, I can't find this thing. So it reduces frustration. It reduces the amount of maybe lashing out, that everybody around you now becomes a recipient of what's not going well. Staying organized also aesthetically is very beautiful. It's appealing to the eyes when everything is organized. You walk into a room and it just feels like, oh my goodness, this is so organized. It doesn't feel like you walk in and then you want to rush out again, or you open a wardrobe and everything is upside down. You just don't know what to, it's very appealing to the eyes when things are very organized. And what else would I say? Well, maybe in the classroom for educators, staying organized is teaching the children a life skill. Is teaching them that, look, you can live your life, that there's the need for you to have things properly sorted, properly labeled, as much as you can go with organization, but helping them see that everything is not scattered, things are not supposed to be everywhere. It's teaching the children a life skill. Thank you. That's all I can really recall. I can recall right now.
I like that. And it's not going to be out of place if we now ask the next question that serves like a follow up to what you just said. So, is there a best way? Is there a best way to stay organized?
Is there a best way to stay organized? No, I won't say there is a best way, but I would
Okay,
say
so
that there are tips that can help with organizing. For some
okay, so
people,
share with us some tips, as you said, tips for staying
for,
organized. And I want you to,
for some people,
make it
okay.
make it a bit more relatable, um, using, also when you share it generally, let's look at it that let's even paint the scenario. So general tips, specific tips for educators, and also maybe specific tips for superiors. So over to you.
Okay, so generally, getting organized would require either boxes, shelves, labels, or sometimes it doesn't have to be labels. It may just be maybe arranging things according to their height or according to their size generally. For educators specifically, in quite a number of classrooms, we have either shelves or you have cupboards, movable or attached to the wall. We have cupboards that you can stack things and label them. This is where we have the stationery. This is where we have the worksheets. This is where we have papers that can be used for. This is where we have papers, or this is where we have laminating sheets. This is where we have art supplies. You can label like that. And well, for some people, it may be considered maybe a form of extremism. But I find that color coding things helps a lot. So, one practical tip for me as a person is my wardrobe, my personal wardrobe. I typically arrange my clothes according to color. So on one side, yeah, I have all my blacks. On one side, I have my reds. On one side, I have my blues. So it's very easy for me to say, this is the color of dress I want to wear, and this is where I will find it. That's maybe one of the general tips. But also in class, if we have labels and we have, okay, so the green label is for these things, the yellow labels is for numeracy, the blue labels is for literacy. And over time, you let the kids even understand that. Then when you need things, it's very easy to say, go to the blue section of the cupboard and help get so and so material or resource. And sometimes you may not even have to say that. Just say, go to the blue section and get us this. They already know what's there. For administrators, many of the things that they do is paperwork. or maybe screen work as it is now. We don't do many of our things are on the laptop or on the PC, desktop, something. Helping for administrators or school leaders or management team, one thing that can make their lives very easy is compartmentalizing things. So on your desktop, you don't just save articles or save documents randomly, and then you open the either the PC or you just open the computer, and on the desktop you're seeing so many things that it's difficult to at a glance know what is what and where what is. So it's very good for us to organize according to folders, label the folders. Maybe what you want is for September. So you have a general folder for September. Inside of that general folder, you have maybe receipts, maybe feedback, maybe children's folders, maybe by year. So you can have the school, the entire school for September, and then you have year one, year two, year three, year four, year five. So you know that if you're looking for something regarding a child in year two, all you need to do is go to that folder, open the September folder or the October folder or the November folder, and go to year two. You would find it. It's not going to be about now searching your desktop and going from one document to the other. Some are not even properly labeled, so you just save and it's like that. And then when you need to recall it, you don't even know what the title is, what the title of the document is. So that helps a lot. And when you have things like charts, maybe like rota, like timetables, like schedules. If you color code them too, it's fine. So it may look very colorful, but on the schedule you have year one is out for PE on Mondays at 9 a.m. And then they're out also on Wednesday at 11 a.m. You can assign a color to year one, and then you have the color key at the bottom. So once you open, you know what is what. It's a whole lot more organized that way. It can also work for teachers because many teachers also use their laptops to organize classrooms and all of that now. So it's a lot easier when you have folders, you have proper labeling, you have proper that you can easily remember. If the focus of that document is assessment, for example, just put assessments and maybe assessment the name of a child or assessment the class or assessment the month, because we may not remember dates, but you can remember the month. Or you have diary, or you have even for pictures, you can group your pictures. So these are pictures from the literacy class. These are pictures from the numeracy class. And you have them in folders like that. Have them arranged, have them organized as much as possible. Keep your desktop free. Well, I don't know, maybe it's just something that is for me and some other people like me. But having a crowded desktop it makes me scared of work. So when I look at my desktop and everything is everywhere, I'm scared. I don't know where to start from. So keep your desktop as clean as possible. Reduce the number of folders. You can find that you can batch folders together. Have a big folder, maybe labeled first term. And then in first term, you have other smaller folders in it. Instead of having everything scattered all over your desktop, and then you're just looking at it and you get so frustrated. I think, yes, I have this document, but I can't find it. I don't know where it is. That will help also. And for those of us that are using the Google Workspace, you can do the same thing on your Google Workspace. Assign folders. Assign the same way I have described. You can assign folders on your Google Workspace so that when you open it, you're not just looking at all your many documents and all your many files, and you're wondering, where is what I am looking for? So the time you have spent, or the time that should have gone into more productive things, is now spent looking for one document or the other. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You've really taken us on a short master class on staying organized, I should add, and keeping organized, because staying means keeping, but for the way you've been able to articulate it, I think it deserves an extra adjectives or description, and keeping organized. Now, I know that you've said a lot, and I don't intend to take you back to repeating yourselves. yourself, but it's important for us to sometimes break some things down in a way where it leaves no one without excuse. I don't know whether you understand what I'm trying to say. So I know that there's something called routine. I know there's something called daily planner. I know we have so many instruments out there that people look at. How can someone use planners and calendars, effectively? You know, for me, I've had to devise a means, that works for me. But I really want to hear. I really want to hear your thought, because really, it's actually a big issue for most people out there. So can you address that? Using a planner, should one use it? Is it good? Is it bad? What's the best approach? I probably also probably
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
hello.
Okay, yeah, okay. So I lost you for some time there.
So carry on, please. We're talking about how can we use calendars and planners effectively.
Okay, so calendars and planners really come in handy, especially for people who have some challenge with remembering appointments or remembering what they have to do. So you can have a daily planner, you can have a weekly planner. The good thing with these things is you don't have to have the hard copy of a planner. In fact, a very good way to use your planners and your calendars is to use the one on your phone or on your laptop or whichever device you use a lot, an iPad, a tablet, whichever one that you use a lot. So you just go into the the calendar, and then you pick the daily view and add what you want to do. Add the appointment or the task that you need to carry out there. And another good thing is you can set an alarm to it. So if I need to call a parent at 10 o'clock, at 10 a.m. today, I would already have set my planner or my calendar and say call XYZ's mom and dad or call XYZ's mom. And then I set an alarm to remind me 5 minutes before the time. So the moment my alarm goes off, I remember that, oh, I need to do this thing. Having done that, we can do that, set out this plan, maybe at the beginning of the week or at the end of the week for the next week, for the coming week, so that you free your head of having to remember or trying to remember everything that has to be done. No matter how good we are with remembering things, no matter how much we say, oh, look, I don't forget things. There are certain things that will slip by you. And then instead of going through all of the rigors of trying to remember everything, uh, put it on your calendar and set an alarm to it. So for each task that you put on your calendar, you actually can set an alarm and say, remind me of this thing 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before, 15 minutes before, depending on how much time you need ahead to prepare for that particular task. You can use that, but you can also use a paper planner. So you have it spread out. So for some, it's spread out like a calendar. For some, it's spread out like bar charts where you have the day of the week, and then you can impute what you need to do. But for that, it means you carry it along everywhere you go, or you have it put on the wall. And remember to look on the wall to pick what you need to do when you need to do it. So having these planners or having this calendar set up and using it and running with it actually helps us to stay a lot more in control of our time, a lot more in control of our space, a lot more in control of ourselves as people. So I'm a lot more confident knowing that I'm not going to forget an appointment. It looks bad on you to always miss appointments, to always have to apologize, to always have to find one excuse or the other, or to always run late. It looks very bad. If it happens once, twice in a long time, yeah, it's you can overlook it and say, oh, this person is not usually like this. But when it becomes something that happens all the time, then it has become a habit. So with a planner, with a calendar, we're able to have a spread. And then you're able to see, you're even also able to plan for yourself, to plan your leisure. You're not working round the clock because you suddenly remember that there's a deadline tomorrow. And then you have to, the time you could have been resting, you have to just jump out of your relaxation mode and get into meeting that deadline. If it was already on a calendar, if it was already on a plan, if you could already see a spread of the task you have for the week or even for the day, then you're able to say, oh, between this time and this time, I can take a rest. Between this time and this time, I can just watch a movie. Between this time and this time, I can chat. I can. And one thing I used to do was I had a planner for calls. So I'm big on keeping in touch with friends, but I find that I am not always able to do it because work and all that. So I forget. And then I used to be very big on birthdays, remembering people's birthdays and greeting them on their birthdays. And suddenly it started slipping off me. So I had to get a planner where every day I will write it there, call so and so, call so and then I'll put the time to it. Or if I can't call, then I schedule a chat with so and so. So even if I initiate the chat and the person is not there to respond immediately, at least I have initiated it. And when they are there and they respond, then we can have a conversation. But you can, there's no limits to what you can do with planners, with calendars. You can set what you need to do and when you need to do it, how frequently you need to do it. I find that it's a lot easier when you use digital calendars or digital planners. So even if there's a mistake, if a meeting is moved, you can easily just reschedule it on the digital planner or calendar, and then you set your alarm and you're good to go. It just looks like people just feel like, oh, this person is very efficient. Oh, this person, you can set your clock to it. If they say they're going to call you at 2 p.m., they are definitely going to call you at 2 p.m. Well, while you revel in being the Superman or Superwoman who is always on time, just you don't have to tell everybody like, oh, I have a hack, and my hack is my calendar or my planner. And for an educator, it's very good. It looks really, really good on you that you're properly organized. Your classroom is, you can manage your classroom properly. You're not, it's not, you see some teachers when it's 5 minutes to closing time is when they remember, oh, I need to print out homework for the kids. And then they start running helter skelter. And they're printing, they're trying to cut and paste in the books, they're trying to label them, they're trying to give, and parents are outside. Parents have already come to pick their kids and they're upset. This teacher is always keeping the kids longer than they should. The school management is having issues with you and they're complaining. Your kids are never on time, they're always late. All you need to do is get a planner or a calendar, and all of those complaints will come to a stop and will come to an end. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And I believe that those who catch the replay would also be able to glean from this. You've been able to touch on some important things. I actually have questions which you had answered, but I think it's important for people to understand that in planning, it's not just one scope or side of thing that takes precedence and importance. I think it should also involve almost like everything. And I normally tell people that you need to be able to also track your time, because it also helps for better planning going forward. You know, as we track it, there are times I'll find out that we've not allotted enough time to some things, while some things have been allotted more than enough time. You know, so yeah, it's very important for people to understand staying organized, right? We've talked about the importance. We've talked about how to stay organized, right? But before we end, um, I think that it's very important that we look at this activity in consonance with multiple projects, multiple tasks, you know, multiple stuff. How do we get to come around this? It's like almost saying, how do we organize our life on paper?
Hello, are you there?
Yes, I am. I said, I've asked you a question.
Okay.
Did you get
Sorry,
the
I didn't get
question?
the question. No.
So I'm talking about how do you have this issue of multitask, multi-projects, and all those things? How do you have a hang around that?
Oh, okay. So, multitasking, not everybody can multitask. That's the first thing I would say. And if you cannot multitask, don't feel bad about it. It's not something to feel like, oh, everybody can do. One of the things that people say when they go for job interviews is, I can work well under pressure. I can, I'm a self-starter. All of those, but not everybody can multitask. So if you realize that you are not very good at multitasking, then seek for help. Find collaborators, people that can help you in doing different things at the same time. So and these things don't just happen. You have to plan for it. So in multitasking, you also have to look at the activities that you need to do, that you can do together, because multitasking basically is you being able to do more than one thing at the same time. So if you're putting two things that require you to be in different locations at the same time, you definitely cannot multitask with that. But you can set when you plan your activities, you can set it in such a way that you can have water boiling while you are whisking eggs, or let's be more specific for the classroom. So you can have the children set to a task that they're working on, either projected for them or worksheets or written on the board or something. You have the kids working on a task, and then you're having the homework sorted out. So while they're doing that, you're getting that done. You can also have, maybe if you have an assistant, also getting their parent diaries filled out at the same time. So that's everything already. You have three things going on at the same time. But organizing those things requires you knowing what are those things I really need to do, and how can I bring them together such that it's either they're interrelated, codependent, or they can run together. So I cannot say, for example, that I want to be on the Good Morning Education show at 9 o'clock, and at the same time I'm giving somebody an appointment that, oh, don't worry, we can have a phone conversation at 9 o'clock or at 9:30, knowing fully well that I'm still going to be on at 9:30. So our planning for multitasking requires actually the first plan of what are the things I need to do? How do they interrelate, or how can they flow together without being a problem to each other? And with that, we're good to go.
Thank you very much. It's been an interesting one. I don't know, but is there anything that you would think that people would find more challenging in staying organized? And if there is, what would you advise that someone does to curb such factor?
Okay, so one thing that can be a challenge is, you know, at the beginning of the school term, for example, or at the beginning of the school year, when you walk into the classroom, it's so beautiful, it's so pristine. Everything is where it's supposed to be. You have everything set, the tables, the chairs, everything is well organized. And then the first child comes in, and maybe they just come in and they don't even notice that things are in their place, and they're so excited to be back in school, and that's the beginning. So the first thing is actually staying organized. That's the first challenge in in keeping things where they're supposed to be. So after a while, it can get overwhelming. Like, what's the point? At the end of the school day, I have to gather these things together again, rearrange them, and maybe you've done that for 1 week. If you're able to do that for maybe 1 week, by the second week of school, you're getting tired and like, look, it doesn't even matter anyway. Let things be where they are. So the first thing is not to lose steam in organizing things, not to lose steam in making sure, because on the long run, you save a lot of time. You save yourself a lot of stress. Save yourself a lot of shouting and getting agitated and getting anxious about doing things and all of that. So yes, that's the first challenge in actually keeping those things organized. It's not just in the classroom, even in our personal lives. Sometimes you just get to my, you want to remove your dress and fling it somewhere. You really do not want to be bothered with hanging it up. You really don't want to be bothered about putting your shoes away. You just want to get into the door, kick the shoes off, and plump into the just into the couch and have a cup of cold water and sleep off or do other things from there. We really do not want to be bothered. But if we continue like that, it becomes a big mess. It becomes a huge mess. You have things scattered everywhere. You don't know where anything is. So yes, that's the challenge. And I would say that for educators particularly, staying organized and keeping organized will be overwhelming for you if you try to do it alone. Involve the kids in your class. No matter how young they are, involve them. So they use a pencil, have a pencil cup. The moment they're done with the pencil, let every child understand that when you're done, you return your pencil to the pencil cup. Let the pencil cup have its own place. They already know this is where it is. So they're done, they put it there. There's a cup for erasers, there's a cup for rulers, there's a cup for crayons. Let them have their specific, and the children know. So the moment they're done, they're helping you to clean up because they're returning what they used to where it's supposed to be. Have them help you. And it's not just about them helping you, it's also them learning and for their own future, for their own, for when they are more independent and they're able to say, oh, when I'm done using something, I return it to where it's supposed to be. I clean up after myself. I pack up after myself. Do engage them age appropriately. It's not about child labor. It's not about telling maybe a 3-year-old to be carrying a table from one place to the other. No, but simple things like, oh, that's a scrap paper. You're not using it. Throw it in the bin. They take it off and put it in the bin. That's one less thing for you to clean up. And so that way it's easier to keep organized. It's easier to have things remain to a large extent in to have them seen to a large extent.
So much on that note, we will be bringing the curtains down to draw the show to an end. And I believe that someone out there would have gotten some information, useful information, especially educators, on staying organized. This is the Good Morning Education Show. We will be here tomorrow, Sunday at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And we believe it's going to be a great time together on the show. Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, friends, tribe members, whoever you are, remember to subscribe to our channel, like and share our videos, tell someone about the Good Morning Education Show, follow us, experience the best, share with us, learn with us, and grow together with us. On that note, we will be calling it a day on the Good Morning Education Show. And I'd like to thank Finifolu Falodun, as she would like to stress the tonality, the construct of her name. I'd like to thank her for joining us today after a long time. We've not been having her on the show, but she showed up today, meaning that we all will have breakfast. All right. On that note, we're going to count two to say our parting words. Ready? 1, 2, go. It's
It's
always a
always great
great
on
on
the Good
the
Morning
education
Education
show.
Show.
Take care. Bye.